Multiple major cities inside California have taken their systems offline from a major cyber attack. And this comes as just yesterday, I reported how Florida, their state systems were offline as well from a major cyber attack, and they had universities affected and hospitals were affected as well. So what's going on? Are we seeing dry runs? Are we seeing tests? Are we seeing probes into some of the biggest states and biggest cities in the country? All right, this is a major city that's been hit. Oakland, California has their systems offline right now, one of the biggest cities in California. And this also comes as the FAA is warning pilots and airline companies to have their planes ready for high-powered 5G frequencies because it will interfere with their computing systems. All right, so we're going to talk about how all this stuff's related, but let's get into this headline here out of California. All right, Oakland, California takes their systems offline after a ransomware attack. This is coming out of Bleeping Computer. A couple other sources are reporting on this as well. And you can see here the city of Oakland was hit by a ransomware attack on Wednesday night. All right, Florida just had the same thing, and also a dozen other attacks that I've reported on in the past week. YouTube, Google, Twitter, Facebook, all these top companies. SunTrust Bank were hit with cyber attacks as well. Just 2 days ago, I reported on it. And it says they were forced to take all their systems offline until the network is secured and affected services are brought back online. The city's IT department is coordinating with law enforcement to investigate the attack and working on securing and restoring impacted services. According to Microsoft's threat analysis, Brett Callaway, at least 6 U.S. local governments have been impacted by ransomware already this year, with at least 4 of them having data stolen. Well, now it's 7 and now it's 8 because there's another city in California that was hit too that's actually only a couple hours away from Oakland and had their systems go offline at the same time. Whenever you see coordination like this, like when all of the websites went offline at the same exact time, I was pinpointing it. It was like 522, 524, 526. They were all going offline. It's coordination. All right, there's something bigger going on. It's not just a glitch or something else, or they clicked on some random phishing link at the wrong time. There's some kind of coordinated attack happening on their systems, and it's definitely more than 6, and it's only been 40 days into the year, and there's already at least 8 of them. All right, so what's that? Every few days, more than once a week, city governments are getting shut down and getting locked out of their systems. Also, Modesto, California has been hacked and forced their local police department to revert to using handheld radios, pens, and paper while patrolling the city. All right, so they can't even use their communication radios for police, their police responders. They have to use handheld radios. All right, this is crazy that this is happening. And what happens when the police, when the emergency responses are completely incapacitated? They're working around it, but it's one of these things. In a real emergency, the emergency services are not available. The emergency services are going to be too busy dealing with everyone else, and they're going to have an emergency of their own during a real hitting the fan situation. So you need to be prepared. I'm thankful to have emergency services when you need them, but they should be your total, absolute last resort at all ways possible. All right, be prepared for everything. And apparently the police computer outage has been going on for a number of days, causing the department to embrace, quote, old school policing, reported an anonymous source. Modesto is, quote, experiencing limited connectivity to some systems. Our ability to facilitate city services, including emergency services and answer 911 calls, is fully operational. So they still could take your call, but that system could easily go offline too. It's very vulnerable. A lot of our telecommunications phones, everything all just operate through fiber optic cables now. It's all the same thing, your internet, your phone, it's all the same line. And if the internet goes out, then your phone could go out as well. We've seen multiple fiber optic cables being cut too, all right? I reported over 10 Comcast cables were cut at once a couple days ago. And then a few days before that, a massive Verizon fiber optic cable was cut, resulting in nationwide phone outages. So we're seeing more and more attacks, and we could definitely see a big one. We're going to get into this FAA stuff in just a second because that's big news too, and it relates to all this as well. But you can see here that the police are not always available, right? And they are slowed down. I'm sure the response times are definitely slowed down operating with pen and paper and handheld radios. And very suspicious that these cities are located only an hour and a half apart, Oakland and Modesto, California. And just yesterday, I reported on Florida being hit too. So this is happening more and more, and we could see the federal government get hit soon too. And this ties into this because, just stick with me here, all right? The FAA is warning airlines to retrofit their equipment for 5G's high frequency capabilities, all right? And they are saying that it could interfere with them, it could shut down their electronics, these high frequency fields that are being put out by 5G. All right, you can see here the FAA proposed its new directive in January requiring passenger and cargo aircraft to have 5G C-band tolerant radio altimeters and agency-approved radio frequency filters, which it says would continue to allow aviation and 5G C or 5G C band to exist safely. All right, so they're saying these are incompatible modern electronics, and our airplanes aren't compatible with 5G. And they're even saying down here that AT&T and Verizon are voluntarily dialing down their signals near airports to mitigate the issue until airlines can implement this protection from their high-powered frequencies. All right? And just think bigger picture. What if these 5G towers got out of hand and they started affecting the grid? They started affecting our substations, affecting the electrical grid, or any other type of electronics, communications. They operate, you can see here, all right? They are 10 to 100 times more powerful than the waves used in 4G and Wi-Fi. This is a major step up. 300 gigahertz is massive. That's a massive, powerful frequency. That's why 5G is such a big deal. And it's powerful enough to damage airplanes and their altimeters. All right? Just think about it. It's powerful enough to damage our airplanes. It could be powerful enough to damage our electric grid and damage our critical infrastructure as well too. All right, this 5G is very dangerous. There was a lot of speculation on, I broke down a whole video on it, potentially high frequency 5G transmitters being responsible for this Turkey quake, all right, and how they can bounce these high frequencies off the ionosphere back down onto Earth. And this earthquake was very powerful, but it was very shallow. It was not deep at all. And that also indicates that this could possibly be a frequency attack, a high-powered frequency attack. And they already beam frequencies into the ground to find resources like natural gas and oil, okay? But the frequencies they use are along the lines of thousands of hertz, 10,000 hertz. This 5G is 300 gigahertz. 1 gigahertz is 1 billion hertz. So this is billions of times more powerful than the equipment that they need to excavate natural gas and oil and resources for mining, okay? These frequencies are extremely high powered, and things like HARP, we already know exist, and they beam these frequencies off the ionosphere, and they can bounce them off back into the earth, creating powerful shakes and powerful earthquakes, all right? And also, they can target them at electronics and take out the grid. And if the grid goes down, we've already been warned by Big Schwab multiple times. The WEF loves talking about cyber attacks and cyber pandemic situations because banking goes down. You cannot use your card, your debit card, or your credit card. All these things happen, and society as a whole will stop. That's what Schwab was even saying, and he was saying that the past few years would look like nothing if we have a massive cyber attack or a massive grid attack. What about these balloons? All right, I made a whole report on this aircraft that was shot down over Alaska. Go check out that video if you haven't already seen it. All right, these crafts can be used for EMP attacks, okay? And all an EMP is a very powerful electromagnetic frequency. They just call it an electromagnetic pulse instead because it is a very high-powered frequency that happens very quickly. And these 5G could definitely simulate a very similar effect, all right, if they operate all at the same time. And the infrastructure is already in place globally, this 5G infrastructure. So get prepared, guys. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like. Please hit that sub. Please hit that bell for me as well. Hit those comments down below. Let me know what you think. What are you doing to get prepared? Go watch my videos earlier. The food supply is being poisoned. New shots have been approved. Very sketchy, very dangerous. I made a video on that. And a aircraft has been shot down over Alaska. Go check out those videos. Thank you guys so much. And you have a big old blessed day.